I'm Summer Randolph. I am so grateful for this opportunity. I have always loved yoga, but really delved into the world of teaching within the past year, and happy to be here. So, we'll begin with a comfortable seat on our mat, palms facing down to ground or facing up to receive. Begin to find a soft gaze or gently close the eyes. And simply begin to notice the breath. Not changing it, not judging it, just simply coming into our mat, coming into our body, and noticing our breath. We'll begin to think of our intention for today's class, about trusting in your inner wisdom and your inner guidance, and overall listening to your body and what it has to say. At first, this can feel uncomfortable or even a little scary, but throughout our practice today, we will work on trusting in ourselves and coming into our body. So on our next inhale, we will take a deeper breath in. So on your inhale, deep breath in for 3, 2, 1. Exhale with your mouth open, whooshing sound out. One more time all together. Inhale for 3, 2, 1. Open mouth, exhale, whoosh, as if you're fogging up a mirror. On our next breath, we'll inhale for 3, 2, 1. This time, seal off the lips. Exhale through the nose for 3, 2, 1. So here we have our victorious breath, or Ujjayi. This will ground you and bring you back to your body throughout our practice. So let's practice one more time all together here. Inhale for 3, 2, 1. Feel the slight constriction in the back of your throat as you seal off your lips. Exhale for 3, 2, 1. Now we will be coming into all fours. Swing the legs to the side, however is comfortable to find all fours here. On your inhale, push back into child's pose. Coming into your space, first stretch of class. Noticing how you feel here. Taking a few deep breaths. On your next inhale, come up into all fours. Palms should be planted firmly down, putting pressure in between the pointer and thumb finger to avoid any wrist pain. Navel is slightly tucked in, shoulders are slightly protracted. On your inhale, lower the pelvis down as the head tilts slightly up. Inhaling here. Exhale, rounding out through the back and shoulders. Inhale for cow, lowering the pelvis. Exhale for cat, rounding out. Feel free to bring in your own authentic movement here, whether that's a wrist stretch or a gentle sway of the hips. And find a couple rounds with your own breath here. On your next inhale, tuck the toes under, push back into downward facing dog. First downward facing dog of class, so pedal out your feet, just feeling how this might feel in your body today. Noticing your calves, the strength in your shoulders, navel slightly tucked in. Inhaling here, exhaling. Inhale, lift the right foot high to the sky. Open up the hip, finding a gentle stretch, option to move the hip around, anything that warms you up for our practice today. On your next inhale, bring the legs straight. Inhaling, exhale, planting that foot in between the palms and lifting up into crescent lunge. Front knee is over the ankle, back leg slightly bent. Inhaling here to find length. Exhale, dropping the shoulders down, finding strength in that front quad. Growing tall as you inhale, sinking a little bit lower as you exhale. One more round of breath here. And on your next inhale, ground the back left foot down into a 90-degree angle. Left arm swings around to find your arms parallel. Gaze goes through the front fingertips. Inhaling here. Exhaling. Imagining a wall is behind you, so our knee is not caving inward or outward. Knee is over the ankle. Parallel back foot. Shoulders back and down. One more breath here. Inhaling. Exhaling. And on your next inhale, take the right forearm to the right knee. Left arm sweeps up and over, finding openness in the heart and the chest area. Maintain that bend in the front knee as you inhale to find openness and exhale to reach a little further. Holding for one more breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, push back into warrior two. Inhale here. Exhale, right arm comes back to find reverse warrior, maintaining that bend in the right knee. Option to bind the left hand behind you or place it down below your left knee. Inhaling to find openness, exhaling to reach behind you for reverse warrior. Inhaling here. Exhale, windmilling the hands down to frame the right foot. Step it back into our first plank of class. Inhale here, protracting the shoulders, navel stays close to the spine, feeling that core fire up here. On your next inhale, you're going to slightly come forward. As you exhale, lower down to a 90-degree angle with those elbows. Inhale, untuck the toes for upward facing dog. And exhale, push back to downward facing dog. Our first chaturanga of class. Coming back to our downward facing dog, noticing how the other side feels in comparison. On your next inhale, lift the left foot high. Exhale, dropping that knee open, finding a stretch. Option to move the hip around. Just coming into our left hip here. On your next inhale, bring the left leg back up straight. Exhale, plant the left foot in between the hands as you reach up for crescent lunge. Knee is over the ankle, shoulders are resting back leg planted firmly to find strength here in our crescent lunge. Inhale, finding length in the spine. Exhale, lowering a little deeper. Holding for one more breath here. On your next inhale, ground the right back foot down, parallel as the right arm comes back, left arm straight ahead, gaze over the left fingertips and left knee bent for our warrior two pose. Shoulders are relaxed down, knee is not caving in or out, and finding strength in that back parallel foot. Arms are out to a comfortable T and gaze is over the front fingertips. Inhaling here. Exhaling. On your next inhale, left forearm comes to the left knee as the right arm sweeps up and over. Inhale, finding openness. Exhale, bending and reaching a bit further. Inhale here. Exhale. One more breath on your own. Inhale, push back up into warrior two. Exhale, left arm reaches up and over and back. Right arm option to find a bind or place it gently next to your right leg. Inhale, reaching back. Exhale, finding openness, maintaining that bend in the front knee. One more round of breath here. On your next inhale, windmill the arms down, hands plant next to the left foot, stepping it back into our plank. Again, finding strength in our shoulders here, navel tucking in and up. Now with our next chaturanga, we want to ensure that we don't cave in through our chest. So a reminder to really push up through our shoulders to find strength. Always an option to drop your knees here to do a modified chaturanga. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, slowly lower down. Inhale, untuck the toes. Exhale, push it back to downward facing dog. Taking a few deep breaths here. Noticing how both sides feel after doing our flow on both sides. Back, finding a little stretch. In our next round, we will flow one breath to each movement. Inhale, right leg goes high. Exhale, plant in between the hands. Inhale, come up for crescent lunge. Exhale, ground down the back foot, finding warrior two. Inhale, right forearm comes to right knee. Left hand reaches up and over. Exhale, push back into warrior two. Inhale, finding a reverse warrior. Exhale, windmilling the hands down, stepping back into your plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. One quick resetting breath here. Remembering our victorious breath that we can always come back to. Inhale, left foot goes high. Exhale, plant in between the hands. Inhale, up for crescent lunge. Exhale, ground down that back foot, warrior two. Inhale, left forearm comes to left knee. Extended side angle. Exhale, back to warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, windmill the arms down, stepping back into plank. Chaturanga on your own breath cues here. We'll all meet back in downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here. On your exhale, slowly lower down to all fours. Inhale here, exhale pushing back into child's pose. Holding for a few breaths here, coming back to our body, lowering our heart rate. Inhale, come back to all fours and swing the legs around to find a comfortable seat. My puppies were having a moment. I'm looking at them in the window. All right, so we'll come back to our natural breath again. Gently resting the eyes closed. Coming back to our intention for class today. How can you show your self-love and self-trust on this mat, but also outside of class? We remember that yoga is a practice both on the mat and outside in your daily life. So thank you for all trusting me today with your practice. We'll bring our hands to heart center. And all inhale for 3, 2, 1. Hold. Big sigh, let it all out before we exit this room. Exhale. Inhale, option to bring your hands to your third eye. Thank you all. Namaste.